I'm Jasmine, and welcome back to Lifesavers, the podcast by the RNLI, the charity that saves lives at sea. Join me each week as I'll be hearing from a different lifesaver, an ordinary person who's prepared to drop everything to rescue a complete stranger in trouble. This week I'm speaking to Lauren Cooke, a lifeguard and full-time student from Yorkshire. For her, the day she saved a life wasn't while she was lifeguarding on a beach, but while she was off duty on a summer holiday, and her skills were needed more than ever.
And then the parents passed me the baby. At the point where I got him, he was starting to go blue and things. He'd been choking for quite a while. So obviously it was quite intense because he was so young, and I think it's anyone's worst nightmare to do a first aid on a child or a baby especially.
Lauren and I caught up just before the start of the lifeguard season in spring while she was on placement at university. She joined as an RNLI lifeguard when she was 16 years old, and for over 4 years now she's filled her summers with giving first aid on the beach, rescuing people from the water, and reuniting missing children with their families. In this episode, Lauren shares how lifeguarding has helped her grow in confidence, the unlikely places lifeguards training kicks in, and why the job really isn't anything like Baywatch. So here's Lauren and her story.
Yeah, so I went to Crete on just a little midweek break or something last year, and I just went with my mum, and then we was going to visit some friends, and we were sat in a restaurant, and it was just our group, and then this other family sat behind us, and we was just eating, it was fine, and then we just had this little one coughing and things, so we just turned around to have a nosy and have a look, and then time felt a lot slower at the time, but it was probably in 30 seconds to a minute, realised something a bit more serious was wrong. So it was a 6-month-old baby, and he was choking on some food which he was eating. And then because obviously as lifeguards we're dealt to train with first aid and with choking at quite a high level. So we got up and kind of went over and offered any help what we could. And then the parents passed me the baby. At the point where I got him, he was starting to go blue and things. He'd been choking for quite a while. This was, I think, after 4 years of me doing lifeguarding. So your instincts kind of kick in. So obviously I looked at him and saw that he must have had an obstruction in his mouth. So I gave him 5 back slaps, which almost cleared it, but not quite. And then laid him flat on the floor and did 1 chest thrust on him, what we're trained to do. And with that, then it came out, and then he regained his colour and that kind of thing. So obviously it was quite intense because he was so young, and I think it's anyone's worst nightmare to do a first aid on a child or a baby especially, because we are trained to such a high level. At the time it was just, it sounds weird, but it was just kind of instinct, and you just kind of knew what to do, and there wasn't much panicking and stuff. So
how did it compare to trying to rescue an older child or even a fully grown adult? Did you have to do anything differently?
The principles are the same pretty much. You do slightly different techniques with children and babies and adults on different things like CPR and choking, but I think in a sense you do kind of stress when it is someone who's of a younger age, because they can't look after themselves like what an adult could do. So you kind of have a lot more responsibility. You already have a high level of responsibility anyway, but that's kind of doubled when it's someone especially under the age of 1 and things, because you know that they can't control things themselves like what we could.
Do you ever get scared in scenarios like that, and also when you're on duty on the beach?
When I first started out, it would have been something that scared me. I think every person in that situation would have had a bit of stress and a certain level of anxiety about it. But obviously through experience and things, you're more able to remain calm and things, and do things in more of a collected way. So obviously I'm lucky that I've had a bit of experience now, and at the time I was quite experienced in things with first aid and dealing with the public and talking to people, so that worked in my favour and things.
Does it sink in quite quickly that you've saved someone's life after something like that happens?
It was a weird one, to be honest. We kind of didn't, you just don't expect it, especially at work, you kind of expect that you might have to do something and things, but obviously there you was in a situation where you didn't think anything was going to happen and things, so that was quite unexpected. Obviously it did sink in after a while, and it's maybe this is quite a big thing and things.
Wow, it is amazing that you were there, and definitely that you knew exactly what to do even when you meant to be on duty and meant to be enjoying your holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel like you are always on in a way?
Kind of, it's one of them things, if you was to be out on the street and you saw someone in trouble, then Like for me personally, I might go and see if they was all right and things. Or, do you know, silly things like on a plane, like a few of our lifeguards in our kind of area have like helped people on planes, or just, you know, day to day if it's things that you could help people with, which might not just be a lifeguard specific thing, but obviously if you've got that level of training and that knowledge, in a way it's nice to obviously use it where it is needed, because you never know like who or what you're going to come across and things.
Yeah. Do you think you would have known what to do if you didn't have the lifeguarding training?
Not nearly as well as what I do now. I think, do you know, I might have done basic first aid and things in the past, but I wouldn't have had the knowledge and the like ability to just do it straight away like what I did when we were there. Do you know, and I think there would have been a lot more, I'd have been less experienced in things with dealing with it, which would probably like make me panic more and things.
Did you sort of know what you were getting in for when you signed up? Did you have an idea of what your job would be day to day?
So I used to be a competitive swimmer, and then I used to swim and do training dates with our local supervisor. So he like kind of passed on the message to our club and stuff when we was doing recruitment for lifeguards, and that's like pretty much how I first heard about it. It was nice that it was like a summer job and could work around, like I was at college and school and stuff at the time, but obviously now it works around uni and things like that as well. And then obviously you get to know more about the job and things, and it becomes like more interested in things. Like at first you think, oh, you don't know what it's much about, but then obviously when you get talking to people, and like all the other guards said it was really good and something really nice to do, and I learned it more on the job when I was doing things, and then realised how many different like scenarios and things we do get. Like I didn't realise how many like major first aids and like lost children and things that we would get until I started working and experiencing it. So I think through my first season that was like a learning experience as well.
And because you must have been quite young when you joined, is anything like that quite daunting? Like, you know, if you're called to a major first aid or something, can that be quite intimidating?
Yeah, so I think in everyone's first season, like whether you're a bit younger, so I started when I was 16. I think in everyone's first season, because you don't expect it. Like some people obviously have this stereotypical thing that it's just going to be like Baywatch and things. But obviously when you do start and you do your casualty care training and things, then you start to think, oh, like this might be a bit more serious. And then on the job, you know, you can get called to absolutely anything. It like just obviously depends what happens at the time. And I think it is daunting. Like even now you do think, oh, obviously the more seasons you do and the more experience, the more training and things through the courses, and the more confident you do get with it. And then obviously you're never on your own, so you always know someone else is going to be there if you need like a bit extra support and things.
Yeah. What's a typical sort of day for you?
So where we are, we don't get like too many water-based rescues because we're in like quite a nice like safe bit of water. But we do get a lot of like major first aid, so we're quite a touristy, quite a busy beach. Well, we've got 4 beaches in like Bridlington and then some further up the coast. And we tend to get a lot of people that come from the cities, from like Midlands, and then they come to us. We work with the Yorkshire Ambulance Service as well in our area, so even if it's a quiet day, they can give us a ring and ask us to go to an incident for them.
Is it quite a male-dominated place on the beaches?
I think there was only me and 4 or 5 other girls in our team of about 20 to 30. But now, like, we do see a lot more like girls coming through. So like on that recently through our last 2 courses, we've had equal number of girls and boys come through, which is nice. And I think it's just because like obviously I don't know what it's like in all areas, but in our areas we have got like quite a good strong team of like girls on the team, but as well as lads, and we can all have a laugh with each other and we all chill out and stuff. So definitely when I started it was more boys than it was girls, but now it's quite evenly split.
Do you think it gives you more confidence now that there's more females on the beaches as well?
I wouldn't say that's specific to girls. I think it's just obviously through your years as like training and stuff, you just become more confident with everyone around you. Like I wouldn't say for me personally it was because there was more girls or more boys. Like we're really lucky that we all do get on and we all go out socialising and things, as well as like working with each other day to day. So I think just being able to like have some downtime with everyone as well like means that you are more confident with each other anyway.
And how long do you work for over a season? Is it full time and is it all summer?
So in Bridlington we start weekends from the 1st of May, the first weekend in May, and then we do weekends through May and through June, and we cover every day during the May half-term holidays, so we cover that bank holiday as well. And then we start every day from the first week, like the 1st of July, first weekend of July. And then we run every day, so Monday to Sunday through July and August, and then we generally finish at the beginning of September.
That's quite a commitment, isn't it? Because you're a full-time student as well and on placement as well at the moment. How does it sort of help you with what you want to do in the future and what you're studying?
Well, to be honest, like, because I did lifeguarding from when I was 16 and things, like I got them skills of working not just with our team but with different agencies, so it is like a professional job. You know, you have to communicate professionally, like things with the Coast Guards, and we work with ambulance staff, paramedics, ECAs, everyone, and we work with police officers like a lot of the time. So you have to be good at communicating and like dealing with like stressful situations and things like that, which obviously you get a lot of support from the RNLI and a lot of courses and things to help you. But for me personally, like working in this job like helped me to get onto my uni course, because I had the skills and like the knowledge behind me what I needed to try and like take that into different roles and things, especially like in a healthcare setting. So
definitely. Are you hoping to progress as kind of the seasons go on?
Yeah, I think everyone, like, you come in and then you kind of get to grips what happens. So the first years will start as a grade 1, and that's like a learning year. And then if you've done well in that first year, you then progress up to a grade 2 and you've got a bit more responsibility on you. Grade 2s tend to be like a good middle ground for a lot of people, and I spent, I think, 3 years as a grade 2. And then from there you can move up to a grade 3, which is like another step up from a grade 2. So that's, you gain more responsibilities. It is nice, and I think people are like, me included, was determined to try and, you know, like push your way up and things and get more responsibility and stuff the more seasons that you do.
Yeah. And that's amazing, especially if you started at 16. That's like, it's such an incredible ambition and such a great responsibility as well that you wanted to take on that young.
Yeah, it was good. Like, obviously, me, when I was 16, I was really shy and I wasn't very confident and things. And then everyone found it real funny. I came back in my second season, I was really loud and all this. So it's just, it does help you, you know, like, in a sense, like, become more mature and grow up slightly. And so it's good that we do get a mix of people start at 16, and then some people tend to start like older and things. And obviously with the right training and things, there's no reason why it should like put you at a disadvantage or anything. So
have you learnt much about yourself since you started lifeguarding?
I think I've become more confident in myself, and I know that, you know, like, it doesn't faze me to go and talk to people and things. Like, I do a lot of the educational stuff as well, so I'm happy to stand in front of a group of like 20-30 kids and speak to them and do education and things, which when I was 16, I didn't think I'd ever be able to speak in front of a group of people and that kind of thing. So it does give you like a wider range of like skills and stuff what you can take to different things. So
what is the training like what does it involve?
So when you first start, you do just a general beach lifeguard course, and that could be with different bodies like SLSGB or with the RLSS, and that's a week-long course, and it's a mixture of going in the sea and going in the pool and doing theory and doing first aid every day. So that's quite an intense long week. And then once you've passed that, and if you pass that, then you can then obviously apply with the RNLI to do a RNLI lifeguard position, and then they kind of take you through different courses. A general one that we all do is our casualty care course, and that's like a 3-day, more advanced, like first aid sort of stuff that we do use day to day on the beach.
Do you have to be quite fit before the training?
Yeah, so we have monthly comps tests. So you do a 200-metre run, which needs to be done under 40 seconds. And then there's a 400-metre swim in a pool, and the first 8 lengths have to be under 3.5 minutes. And then the whole 400 metre needs to be done under 7.5 minutes. And then you have to be able to do a full length underwater and a full length back in under 50 seconds. So you have to be quite fit. You've got to be a confident swimmer. But they're not impossible. The times aren't impossible. So it is something that you're able to do if you want to do it and you train for it.
Did you find it challenging, obviously, from being a swimmer previously, or was that kind of something you took in your stride? Did you find the test quite easy?
I find the swims, for me, because I was a swimmer, I don't find them too difficult, but I can't run, so I find the run challenging.
Yeah, so I suppose everyone kind of gets a bit trained up something else.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about comparison, because I think everyone listening will be quite familiar with that feeling, but do you ever find yourself comparing yourself to other lifeguards, and after a rescue maybe thinking, I could have done this better, or I should have done this, or anything like that?
I think you do. We all get trained. So when we do training and when we do scenarios and things as part of our like weekly trainings or just on the job, you always work so that you're at that golden standard. You're always at the top level what it could be. And, like in training, we do give feedback on each other, and sometimes you can have a lot of feedback or sometimes it could have gone really well and things. But obviously when you're in them situations, there's no pressure and it's not a real life situation. So you've got the room to make the mistakes and things. And then obviously in a real life situation, nothing's going to go like what the textbook's going to tell you kind of thing. After it's happened, we all are trained to debrief with each other and things after a scenario. So you kind of say like, what went well and what were really good about what we did. And then maybe for next time, like what could we have maybe done differently? So not so much a case of what was bad and what was wrong and picking out the negatives, but more a case of, if we was to do this again, could we have done it a different way? And would have that been more effective kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like not being too negative on yourself, but if there is things to improve on, knowing where to improve and how to put it in and things.
Yeah, that sounds like a really healthy and kind of positive place to get all of those things out. So you're not just dwelling on negatives and you're trying to make them better, like as a team.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Just lastly, I just wanted to ask you what you're excited about or looking forward to that's coming up.
We have a really nice team, so we just look forward to all kind of coming back after winter, doing different things and seeing each other, and obviously all working together day to day, and obviously spending time with each other and socialising as well. So it's a good balance, a work play kind of mix that we have in our area specifically.
Yeah. And would you recommend anyone to be a lifeguard who's willing?
Yeah, definitely. I think it gives you lots and lots of different opportunities what you can do, and then obviously it's a good way of meeting new people.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much for talking to me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Lauren, and thank you at home for joining us. If you want to hear more stories from our Lifesavers, make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, iTunes or Spotify, and you'll be the first to hear when the next episode has arrived. You'll also really help other people find our series and hear our stories with a rating and review, and we really appreciate you being on board with us. The RNLI is completely reliant on the generosity of the public. They don't receive any government funding, so every rescue is powered by the incredible support of people like you. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.